So when it's time for the green card interview, historically, I would tell people we want to create a list of all your updated evidence that you're going to bring with you to the interview. When should you submit evidence for your marriage-based adjustment of status application? So generally speaking, when we submit an adjustment of status application through marriage to a US citizen, we like to call that a one-step adjustment of status because we could file the I-130 and I-485 at the same time. Big caveat, assuming you qualify. So if you don't know what that means, check out my other videos where I talk about the basics of filing a marriage-based adjustment of status application. Marriage-based adjustment of status applications are actually like my favorite cases. They're my bread and butter. It's what I like to focus my practice on. So I make a lot of videos on these specific topics. When we file an adjustment of status through marriage, I like to include as much evidence as possible from the beginning. So whatever we have that could prove that the marriage is in good faith, we want to submit all of those documents up front. I don't care if the package ends up being this thick. We'll send it in a flat rate box. That's going to be USCIS's problem. But down the road, so after we submit it, some time will pass between the submission and the green card interview. And that time period has recently dramatically reduced. The reasons behind that are not entirely clear. My theory is that the government is just trying to get denied cases sent to immigration court to ramp up their deportation numbers as much as possible, but that's just my theory. So when it's time for the green card interview, historically, I would tell people we want to create a list of all your updated evidence that you're going to bring with you to the interview. But now, USCIS officers at the interview are going to have to take all of your new evidence, scan it into their system, label it, and then begin the interview. So what might have been a 20 or 30-minute interview is now going to turn into a 45-minute interview where the 15 minutes of it are just going to be the immigration officer taking your documents, scanning them in, and then labeling them in the system. What I would like to start doing, and what we have actually started doing recently, is before the adjustment of status interview, a couple days before, we will take all of the updated evidence and scan it all into the online USCIS portal so that it's all available for the immigration officer. I would still also, in an overabundance of caution, bring copies of everything to the interview. And of course, you have to bring all of your original documents. Some examples of originals are like original birth certificates, marriage certificate, divorce certificates, passports, things like that. Scanning your documents in advance of the interview will save time at the interview. The officer will ask you if you guys have any updated evidence. If you do, they're gonna need to take it from you and go scan it in. You know, it can be just a waste of time if you have access to a scanner and you can upload it yourself or give it to your attorney so that they can upload it. That's what we just started doing, very recently, within the last few days, we just started doing this because an immigration officer told us that this would actually speed up the interview times and that they do appreciate it when you upload the evidence in advance. So the question becomes, when do you upload the evidence? And generally speaking, when we receive the interview notice, it indicates that the interview is 4 to 6 weeks into the future. And so I think 4 to 6 weeks into the future is still a little premature. You might still get one or two one more bank statement between then and the actual interview date. You might go on one more trip, have a couple more photographs. So I would say a few days before the interview is safe. I don't think anyone's looking at it a few days before. They're probably just gonna look at the evidence 10 minutes before they call you into the interview. So if you upload everything a few days before the interview, that's pretty much as good as it gets. The immigration officer won't have to spend the interview time scanning your stuff in, and you really just want to minimize the amount of time that you're in the USCIS office as possible, because the longer you're there, the more chance you have of saying something that could get you in trouble, just exposes you for longer. We want to avoid that, keep things as straightforward, streamlined as possible so that the immigration officer can approve your application as quickly as possible. All right, guys, that's it for today's video. If you need any assistance with the adjustment of status process, or you're thinking about applying for a marriage-based green card for yourself or for your spouse, be sure to speak directly to me, Puyan Darian. I'm an immigration attorney with an office in New York. I handle these cases nationwide, and in fact, most of my clients don't live in New York. So if you need any assistance with that, you can find my information in the video description below. There's a link, you can just click it, and within 5 minutes, have a consultation booked. If you're new to my channel and you want to learn more about recent changes to immigration law, what's happening on the ground, or just a unique perspective from an immigration attorney, be sure to subscribe. I put out several videos each week, and I'll see you guys next time for the next video.